Regional parliamentary sittings kicked off yesterday in Gulu City, and after 3 days they will be moving to another region in the country. They're supposed to be spread out to the 4 major regions of the country, that is Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda and Central Uganda, in no particular order. Today we expect the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to address the parliamentary sitting that will be taking place today. Now, there has been a debate on whether or not the regional sittings should take place, the regional parliamentary sittings should take place, with the opposition members of parliament, especially those from the National Unity Platform Party, saying that they are unnecessary and it is a waste of the taxpayers' money. But then, in reiteration, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among, did say that this is lawful because it's provided for by their rules of procedure, but also she did mention that Parliament is not spending money that was not allocated. She's saying we have not sought for a supplementary budget. What we are doing, the money we are spending was money that was already allocated to Parliament, and it is money that we are spending. It was meant to be spent. So there is no money being wasted. Now, in the media, you've seen stories of 20 billion is going to be spent during this sittings. Others are claiming it's 5 billion per week. And we are asking the question, will these sittings in their entirety improve service delivery? Yes, it's one thing to say the money was allocated for, it is lawful to have the regional sittings, but are they going to improve service delivery? Is the biggest question we are asking today on our agenda segment. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and having this conversation with me is Mr. Vianney Matovu Ngoma, who is the Chief Whip for NASA. Now, if you know your history, you know what FRONASA means, but if you don't, he's here. He will take us through that before we get into our conversation for the day. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda.
Morning, madam.
Now, you are the Chief Whip of FRONASA.
Yes.
Now, for a viewer out there, maybe younger, who does not understand what FRONASA means, please tell us more about FRONASA before we get into the meat of our conversation today.
It is not only for the young ones, that
even the
older ones who have not been following the political history and liberations of Uganda to date.
Yes.
They don't know. This is called Front for National Salvation, which was a liberation organization which hosted Amin. After hosting Amin, they formed the UPM, because a liberation organization cannot form a political party. That's why when they went for pluralistic governance, they formed the UPM.
Okay.
Then after, when the military council rigged the elections, they went with PRA, Popular Resistance Army. Then when they reached in Ruwero, changed to National Resistance Movement or National Resistance Army.
Which later now transformed
to UPDF, according to the constitutional law.
All right.
Of 1995.
Okay, now we have an understanding of what FRONASA means and why it is relevant to this conversation. Now, Mr. Matova, I would like for us to jump right into it. And the biggest question here for me is, what is the primary role as to why we need these regional parliamentary sittings?
The regional parliamentary sittings or sessions shouldn't be bad, but they have handled it prematurely. Before handling anything to the root of success, you need an enabling law. They are with the essence law, which bad, who is not a member of parliament, to stand at the floor of parliament, air his views, so that they can be considered. Theirs will be like watching a football match. Those who are not member of parliament. Therefore, it will rotate with all the member of parliament.
So it makes no sense.
It doesn't make no sense. It will give us a picture, and people will learn more what they have lost within those regional sessions and change the law and have an enabling law that when it moves to regions, the parliament and their assistants and secretaries, they should sit in the background so that the regional leaders give debate about the problems of their concern and service delivery so that themselves can implement than themselves going there to lead what we call English Parliament. The synopsis of Parliament started as citizen councils. Citizen councils are the ones which later in 1915 transformed to English Parliament. But they started as Bataka. Here in Uganda, they were Bataka councils.
Oh, by English
Bataka
Parliament,
movement.
you mean from England?
From England.
Not English, the language.
Not English, the language.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I understand.
Now they are in Guru, leading the English Parliament. They should have sat as their legislators, amend rules of procedure that regional parliament should be exceptional to the central parliament, so that when we go to Guru, the Guru leadership should lead business at the floor of parliament. Then parliament will take a keynote of it and implement.
Because
that's how you vertically lead the business.
Okay, I see where you're coming from, because if the regional leaders in these areas present the issues of the region, then Parliament would have a better understanding of what the people in those areas are grappling with. So in your perspective, do you feel like members of Parliament transplanting the Parliament from here in the central, taking it to different parts of the country, is basically old wine in a new bottle, so to speak?
It is basically to reflect their presence.
That we are here, we came.
We are a member of Parliament, we are there, we have been in Kampala, we are here.
Now you see us.
But the law bans them. They will only be helped by journalism.
What do you mean by the law bans them? Because according to the Speaker of Parliament and the Chilak North Member of Parliament we spoke to yesterday, he said that this is provided for in their rules of procedure, that Parliament can sit anywhere.
It is provided for to go with them and discuss with them and remain with them. It is not being taken to the regional leaders to inform Parliament of the happening and what services do they require. It is only remains as the same as it is in Kampala.
So no
the law governing it, it is the same. Wherever they create a tent, you are not allowed even to cross to their place where they are sitting.
They are protected.
Yes.
And how?
And this one, what I want it to be, it should be when they reach in a region, they hand over to a region. They listen to the region. The region discusses, gives out views. They compile a resolution of what to implement.
Okay. So your contention...
And guide the government on what to implement.
All right.
As what touches them and what is missing within their connecting links.
All right. I think I get I understand where you're coming from. Your contention is not that regional sittings should not happen.
Yeah.
Your contention is that members of Parliament are going to go to these regional sittings and do exactly what they do in Kampala, vis-a-vis having the leaders of those places now airing out their views and the members of Parliament coming up with a resolution.
Yes.
Okay, now let's look at the opposing views to the regional sittings. Members of Parliament from the opposition, led by the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, decided to boycott the sittings. Other members of parliament from parties like FDC are attending the sitting in Gulu, but majority of those in NUP who unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, come from the central region decided not to attend, as evidenced by the blank chairs that we witnessed over different media platforms. So in your perspective, do they have, because for them they're claiming that it is a waste of taxpayers' money moving parliament to different regions. So in your perspective, do they have some, is there water to their claims, or they are just also politicizing a situation that shouldn't be political?
Their claims are importic. They are not political. We have two words. We have importic and politic.
What's the difference?
Politic is to read a guided ideological sense of understanding. Importic is to play what is wrong and transform it to be what is right by blindfolding the population. So this one, as per now, I support this MP of Nakaseke, who
Rutamaguzi,
came openly to us, told us that even if I don't go there, the money has already been wired on my account. I will still with it and eat it. Therefore, the leader of opposition, who is deceiving us that we shall not go there, it is a wastage of taxpayers' money. Whereas himself has pocketed the money.
Yes.
He is also similar to those he is opposing. The problem is one. In philosophy, we have what we call discipline. The way how your name is how you behave. The other one is a leader of opposition. Is not a leader of development.
So he's supposed to oppose.
They should change that word. He should be a leader of advisory parliament, so that we can have a section of parliament advising themselves and at the same time advising us and leading the nation to advisory attitude, not leading to the opposition, which is by a heaped up anger or by targeting to brand someone with a mess, with a dented name, so that you can score leadership.
So are you saying
that is
when you say heaped up anger, why the anger though? Why would the leader of opposition be angry? And indeed, if he's angry, isn't there any reason for his anger?
What is causing that one is an element of greed.
By him, by members of parliament?
He is too greedy.
Is he now?
To score above. Because when they are addressing us, they tell us that for them, they are not satisfied with the seats they have, with the portfolios they have, and which portfolios they are manning or commanding. They are already targeting the presidency. All of them, I don't know how they will divide it.
Their focus is on the biggest seat in the land.
On the presidency. They are not focusing to their voters who voted them. That we should lead this one which can develop our people as per our social contract within our manifesto, which we presented to them before being elected into elective governance.
Okay. Now, let's look at service delivery when it comes to the central parliamentary sittings. We are looking today at the regional parliamentary sittings, but let's come back to where they normally sit. Have we witnessed enough service delivery when it comes to the sittings they hold in Kampala, or there is a lot to be done even there?
The service delivery is supposed to be led by parliamentary commissioners.
Yes.
You know, parliament has committees of different disciplines and roles. Those committees, they are the ones which lead a reservoir they keep in Kampala, and now they have shifted to the region. They will keep within the regional confines. They should be going to the root. The problem with commissions of parliament is one. One time I appeared in the Parliamentary Commission of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. I told them that when you are presenting a bill to Ugandans, you allow everybody to come here. Don't keep allowing us with our English. It will lead one understanding. It will not integrate all the views. Even those who doesn't know English may have sophisticated and well-researched free views better than ours. Get interpreters so that they can mediate as how the court leads these adjudications. Because with court, they don't force you to know the language they are using, those magistrates. When you say, I know French, they get an interpreter. So with parliament, they don't get interpreters. It is only a class formed for the English people. That's why we are calling it English Parliament.
English Parliament.
Yes.
So
now it should be broader, because by their elective mandate, even a thumb print is an eligible vote for them. So they should not neglect them. So they should integrate everybody.
I see what you're saying. When it comes to the votes or the elections, illiterate, semi-literate, all of them are important.
And because even the blind.
Thank you. Because whether you can write or not, you can vote with a thumbprint. But now when it comes to citizen participation, that's where we draw the line.
Yes.
And your perspective is that we need to involve citizens more into these sittings. Ah, okay. Now you can join the conversation through WhatsApp number 0709602592. We have regional parliamentary sittings. Members of parliament from the opposition, especially the National Unity Platform Party, are of the view that these sittings are a waste of taxpayers' money. But then the other members of parliament, including the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among, are arguing that the sittings are actually provided for by their rules of procedure in Parliament. And also she said that the money that they are going to spend in these sittings is money that has already been allocated to Parliament. So they are not spending any money that is out of their budget. They have not sought for a supplementary budget, so they are working within the limits of the parliamentary budget. But now I am having this conversation with Mr. Matovu Viane Ngoma, who is the Chief Whip for NASA. Now, for NASA is what later transformed into the NRA and later on the National Resistance Movement. And he says that the regional sittings are not bad per se, but they should involve citizen participation. That's when they will be more meaningful. So what's your say? Share your views. Let's hear them. Ask your questions. Mr. Matovu will be able to answer all of those. Now, Mr. Matovu, with anything that with any sitting per se, there is money spent. So let's look at the cost implications. And there has been debate on how much is being spent. Others are saying it's 20 billion, others are saying it's 5 billion. We don't know for sure how much. So the question here is, how much money is being spent in these regional sittings vis-a-vis how much is spent on a daily when Parliament is in plenary sessions, when a Parliament is in session?
Whether the spending is there or not.
Yes.
The opposition and the proposition, they should know what they have legislated after. Because before releasing any money from the treasury, they have a certificate which they call a financial implication, certificate of financial implication. What is implication? It should have been economizing, the certificate of economizing the taxpayers' money. But this one is certificate of financial implication. By implication, whatever come may, whether they have the money or not, they must source for the money by hook and crook and get the money for the business. So they need to change these words and the law. The law is the one that will help us to reach where our arguments are. It will not be our wishes when we go by our wishes, even if we go to court, it will be knocked out. That's where the right honorable reasoning and bearing and viewing of this matter lies on what has been passed. And it goes by appropriation. What is appropriation? Appropriation means sharing the money within the confines of budget. If they have portioned it for that role, whether it is gainful, whether it involves public participation or Ugandan participation, or whether we need help or not, it must be achieved or implemented. So we must change two things: appropriation.
Appropriation.
Who should appropriate? Within the appropriation should also go by regional seatings, so that the district where the region is sitting of parliament battle with that appropriation. Air out that for us we are expecting to spend so much money, let us cut on your budget as parliament, add here so that the delivery can take root, than singularizing it on one person. Thereafter, when they go out of parliament, addressing presses and the citizen assemblies, they start blindfolding us, not internally informing us about the happenings in expenditure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, the electorate has been, for the last few months, we had what some people, Kenyans, are calling it an attempted demonstration against corruption, because it never, for most people, they believe it never took off. But anyway, many of the people in the electorate have been calling for accountability and transparency among our members of parliament and also government officials. So how will the regional parliamentary sittings improve accountability and transparency when it comes to members of parliament and government officials?
As they have their governing role, which saves them from the attack of the regional leaders, it will be maintained as it was in Kampala here. Now what I am advocating for is one, let them come back, change the law, so that they can go to the region with the regional tiers and leaders having the mandate to object and show them whether they have performed or not.
Yes.
Than examining themselves. Now they will not know. But we are going to be saved by the press, because you will get the views of the public.
You have so much faith in us.
Yes, because within this regional parliament, our leaders, our representative, because for me, I'm not an MP. Yes. My representative are the local leadership in the region. They should have stood aside, and the parliament stand aside. They hit the argument. They win them. I am sure they can win them. But this parliament, we are also able to win them. But the law saves them, removes the rope in their neck. Because they will not even know. And according to how people doesn't even support them fairly, they will not interact fully to the root. I don't expect a member of parliament to go to my area where I dine in the dining of a commando and get those views down there. I don't expect them to go in the ghettos and see how the garbage is hitting them. But they will remain in a cleaned environment, as the law says that the press supposed to be parliament should be of this grade. They have even graded that Kaunda.
But they are distinguished members of society, and with that comes with certain protections, certain benefits. And is that what you're against? You want them to come more down to the people?
What is distinguishing them is how they behave. Let me take you an example in Tanzania. In Tanzania, they believe in being a lower person. Within their Swahili, they call it unyenyekevu. You have to be at the knees to the people whom you are serving. And you must be similar than creating a situation where you need security guru, as they say in Uganda.
It is them,
tight security when you
them
go
and
to English.
us. There is a line drawn.
Yes.
I have seen footage of, let's say, political leaders in Europe, sometimes prime ministers, others maybe presidents, riding within their towns and neighborhoods on bicycles to go to work. No security detail. But then when it comes back here, you'll find that all the leaders have they have convoys following them.
What causes that one?
So what causes, what brings that difference between our leaders here in Africa, and it's not only Uganda, what causes the need for extra security, Joyce Gulu, as compared to leaders in other Western countries?
The causality is one, distribution of wealth. Because when you are viewing the news we have and the briefing from the press we have, is that one person is taking billions.
So they must protect themselves.
A citizen is yearning with 100 ceiling, failing to get. So therefore, they see that they are cheating them. So that causes a rift and fragmentation. And
because of that, need for extra security.
For extra security.
So in that...
to guard your interests. They are guarding their interests, not guarding the population.
That's an interesting take. Basically, you are confirming in one way or another that maybe the corruption allegations against members of parliament have some volume to them.
Yeah, and very much volume. And we thank the press, because for us we shouldn't be knowing, because we are not allowed to be there. Even if we appear there, we are by gallery. We are like tourists. The word gallery doesn't mean a human being. Gallery, they are hanged pictures of human beings and other remains.
So your role is to view.
To be like monsters, even the pictures hanged in the gallery for viewing. For viewing. That's why they call it a gallery. It is an abusive word to our citizens. It shouldn't be a gallery. It should be an assembly point of citizens of Uganda to view and respond to what the parliament is debating. Now,
Mr. Matovu, I would like to know, these regional parliamentary sittings, are they something new and limited to Uganda, or there are other countries within the East African region, Africa, and even across the world that employ them? And if any, has there been success of the same?
Regional parliament, they are not new, but they differ country by country. Let me give you an example of Tanzania. With Tanzania, they send committees to go and meet citizen assemblies. They don't send parliament with its law. When they go by committees, the committee must rally the public, and the public must respond to them and show them how far parliament has helped and how far has it failed, and guide it to go and implement the vacuum between them and the public.
Okay. And what examples and lessons can Uganda take away from some, for instance, what Tanzania does?
Very many lessons, because with Tanzania, let it be a president doesn't take the views of the class. Here in Uganda, we have class formations and class.
By class, you mean class system?
Yes.
Yes.
A member of parliament is honorable. For them, it is not there.
It's what? They don't refer to them as honorable members?
For them in Tanzania, a member of parliament is a worker. a sub-county chief is a servant because they changed. Originally, before Nyerere took over the colonial rule, they were calling them chiefs, but they changed. They are workers. In their Swahili, they call it mtendaji. Mtendaji, it is a Swahili word meaning you have to perform a role. But with us here, honorable.
Honorable, and that one is big.
There is one time I was in a talk show in one of the medias here.
Yes.
Then they brought one member of parliament with us. One member of us calls himself honorable. But the member of parliament objected that I'm the only honorable here. This one is calling himself honorable. He's not. They have even grabbed for themselves, for aggrandizing it for themselves, and they think that they should be praised highly. And mostly what they should adapt and implement from Tanzania is one. Within Tanzania, when the president sifts as he's going to address the people of Gulu, when he draws closer to the public is the one to respond. But here, it is only chairperson LC1, LC5, MP, and the like. Then they close the business.
Now, Mr. Matova, I'll ask you a light question, and your answer is yes or no. Do you believe that our members of parliament, over 557 of them, are they honorable or not?
By the law, they are. By practice, they are not. Because we view the public opinion and the picture against them.
Okay, now that's, but it was supposed to be yes and no. Anyway, we are coming to the close of our conversation, but what would be your parting shots to Ugandans? Is this a worthy cause that Ugandans should embrace and be a part of, or they should just continue watching from the sidelines as it has been when the sittings are in Kampala?
I urge the member of parliament to liberate their voters so that when they move by region, they let the region lead the business. They come with a report to government to implement than taking their own reviews, which they have been with in Kampala, just taking just news, not parliament, because it is for fun now in Uguru. We expect that one who is roasting maize to lead business with the member of parliament and share the agony she or he is facing through, and even inform them of the happening. When you travel in vehicles of the ACs, you only travel on Tamaka Road.
And
you may
have
not know,
cars.
You can't know that there are people who have challenges of such a nature. They should have allowed even young people from schools to attend that regional parliament, even the students and the pupils address parliament that we pupils, we have a problem, blah, blah, they mention them. Theirs should be going there to correct views, not to debate as parliament.
Now, Mr. Batovo, I have some views coming through that we will close with, and please, when you write to us, leave your names and where you are so that we know who we are talking to. And this one is asking, what are the main objectives of the regional parliamentary sittings? How different will the regional parliamentary sittings be from the parliamentary sessions in Kampala? I believe that this is what Mr. Matovo has been answering, saying that these sittings should be brought down to the people so that regional leaders in those areas are the ones to address parliament, not parliament addressing itself like the case in Kampala. And Isabide Sulai from Mayuge district says, regional sittings are good. I wish even district councils copy the same and move council sessions around all sub-counties. I beg to submit. And Mugogo Bosco from Ginger says, holding regional parliamentary sittings doesn't change their perspective of viewing and doing things. If at all, they do not change their mindset of how they view and implement what has been discussed. They are still wasting taxpayers' money as they do while in Kampala. So what they are doing is change of environment, yet nothing has changed in them. This is still from Mugogo Bosco in Ginger, and that's exactly where we will end our conversation for the day. Thank you so much, Mr. Matovu, for educating us. Me, I have picked something, and I hope that members of parliament have too.
Thank you.
Well, you're still watching Good Morning Uganda. Thank you so much for being a part of us. I will sign out and we'll catch you again tomorrow at 6:30, but the program still continues.